that, let me invite all our three speakers on the stage. If I could please invite Natasha Kochhar, architect Amit Aurora, and architect Zaki Sheikh to please come on stage.
Hi everyone, welcome to our panel about evolving practices. Now I'm going to start with a simple introduction of what is a design practice and why most of us call our design firms as practices to start with. A practice is something which is a way of working, which is actually a way of life. It's the expression or experience of a profession which becomes your way of life. While a business, on the other hand, is something which is your mode of livelihood. So that's the essential difference. A practice is about pursuing perfection, and a business is about growth and monetary gains. Now, architecture practices essentially are founder-led, and as we know that a business can run without the founder, but often practices don't, which is why we believe that all design practices are practices first and businesses next. Now, coming to that, practice makes perfect, and as we all know, that if you do 10,000 hours of any one thing, you tend to become the best at it. And a very large part of that is evolution. So with time, things evolve, things change, and change is inevitable. So with that, I think I would like to start my question about how three of us, I think, have been around for what, 2 decades, practicing design. So in this process of practice, I'll start with you, Amit. What do you think is the largest change that you've seen in the client of yesterday and today, given the fact that yesterday clients were very unaware and not really exposed to design in terms of what they saw, and today we have well-traveled, Pinterest-armed clients with like mood boards and their Pinterest boards and images and photographs from wherever they go in the world. So how have you navigated that change, and how have you actually pivoted the way you approach design, communication, and your client at large while keeping them grounded towards what you do, but also making the project uniquely theirs?
Hi. So, as you said, we have been around for decades. And so, of course, a lot has changed in last, we have been practicing for 26, 27 years now, and a lot has changed in our lives. So, I firmly believe client behavior, or rather I would say human behavior, has not changed. What has changed is our ecosystems and our technology around us. When I started my practice, I used to hear from clients, oh, I almost became an architect. I still hear that. Everybody had ideas even then. They have ideas now. The sources of ideas have changed. The exposure or the travel sensibilities and the way they travel, the way we all travel and live our lives has changed. So that is a change across society in general and overall. And we are much more connected today than ever before in terms of technology, in terms of information. So that has changed, but not the whole thing of कि मैंने ये देखा था और मुझे वो चाहिए. That hasn't changed. That has been there from the day one, and rightly so. Architecture, design, and we are in a pattern-based business. We are not an artist who's creating things out of our own whim and fancy on our own money. We are using someone's money to create something for them to live in. Whether it's a workspace, it's a restaurant, it's an office, it's a residence, it's a public space. It's where people occupy. So all their emotions come from there. They sleep there, they cook there, they eat there, they laugh there, they cry there, they fall sick there, they get well there. So everything is around human behavior and human emotions. And that is paramount. So, and it is someone else's money of which we are a custodian. So we have to justify that. And of course, And I always end up telling a client, boss, you have told me what all you wanted to tell me. Now you have come to me, so let me do my work. You're engaging me, you're paying me money, so please listen to me, please listen to my advice. If you're going to keep advising me, then you don't need me. Then, you know, and today, earlier I would say you can engage somebody to make drawings as per your instructions. Now I tell them you can use AI tools to turn out drawings for you. You don't need us. And we have been doing that again, the same thing for 25 years. Again, as I said earlier, I would say you can engage somebody to make a drawing for you. Now I tell them AI tools. So that has changed. But yes, we understand, we have been trying to understand needs of our clients, give them the right solution for them, right solution which as per us is, you know, is a match of what they would enjoy for the rest of the duration of that space, which is not gimmicky, not, you know, a thing. And I tell them, like, you're coming up with ideas, I understand what you aspire to have, but this will not work for you. And that hasn't changed.
So, I mean, looping back to what you just said, earlier clients hadn't been exposed, and that is why we presume that they knew less. But today they are exposed a lot more and they know a lot more. But do you still think that there is a gap between what they know and what they believe that they want versus what they should actually want? Do clients really still know or don't know what they want?
So every client is different, every project is different, and again, everybody feels that they know and they should. And it's actually easier to deal with clients who have some idea of what they are looking for. It's more difficult to work with somebody who says, we have come to you, we leave everything to you. That's where challenges are much more, because then the whole responsibility is on our shoulders. But having said that, I said earlier, the information used to come from, you know, everybody used to travel even then. Travel was less. But it was like I went for this party to somebody's house and I saw this thing there. And there was not even a picture to refer to.
They would describe it.
And the descriptions would be like, you know, all over. It was
you had
like,
to guess.
It was like that 6 sight impaired people feeling an elephant and describing an elephant. So today at least there's an image. You can react to that. And on a positive note, I can do my research on that image and tell them, boss, this is what they were trying to do. This image captures only this aspect of it, and this is absolutely not applicable to you. Or it is very appropriate for you, whatever the case may be. So today technology also enables me to get into the depth of things.
Yeah, picture speaks 1,000 words, and that stands true.
Actually.
So look, going back again 20 years, there was a very different ecosystem and environment for communicating what we design. And the pandemic changed that to quite an extent. We architects were a silent bunch because I don't know how many of you know, architects among other professions are not allowed to market and sell themselves or their service. And there was no really way to communicate what you did. And a lot of us were kind of wary of putting photographs out there or anything out there because the access to visual inspirations was very limited, and we felt our work would inspire something which would get copied, and that was a different world then. But come the pandemic and the world became digital firsts. All of us migrated to being digital in the way we communicate, in the way we work, and at least 3 of us, not the young bunch out there, you guys are digital natives. So Zaki, I'm going to put this question to you about marketing and the side of putting your practice and your work out there. There's, of course, the social media platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. And then on the other hand, there are thought leadership platforms such as FOAID, where we are, and PR positioning. How did you join the bandwagon of putting yourself out there? How did you adapt to it? And which one of these helps you more, the thought leadership or the influencers or the inspirational platforms?
Actually, I think neither, because and I should be the last person to be speaking about social media, because I only use social media to criticize Modi and put up pictures of my daughters. I don't have a work page on Instagram. I only have a personal profile which only has, as I said, only pictures of my kids and criticizing the government. The this kind of a forum is something which is great because it connects you to people. This is not a self-marketing tool, because I've had so many people who have come to us said that, hey, we liked you speaking about that. I have met, we got so much knowledge from people. Like I met him today, I was speaking to him before what he was doing, and I got some knowledge about what he's doing in Delhi, which I can probably try and use in Bombay. So I think the best way to get work is to do good work. And that is the only constant. You can go on social media, you can go try and find a client, and then you mess up that client, and you're not going to get the next client. The best and the absolute way is yet the old-fashioned way of doing qualitative work and speak for itself. I run a 75-man firm. I have zero marketing, I have nothing, and I think God is kind. As long as, because people are forgetting that whatever you see, everybody knows what you see in social media is fake, but yet they see social media get consumed by that. But I think at the end, qualitative work will always speak for itself.
So as a thought leader, do you feel that positioning at platforms, networking platforms, and such speaking platforms also helps? It's not about just marketing and getting more work. I think it's also about validating to your existing clients that you're relevant, about maintaining relevance. Do you think that that your presence on the digital footprint matters?
You know, it's a sad bubble to burst, but none of our clients even know what FOAID is or what ID is or AD is. They're only running their own industries, their business, etc. They think of us as a cottage industry, which is unfortunate truth, however much you like it or don't like it. This is a great place for you to meet like-minded people, exchange ideas of the industry, help you grow as a person, help other people to grow. Like, I think, like, I send my people to almost every single exhibition that happens, because we learn about products, we learn about who's doing what. We have, some of the people who work for me, I have met them at exhibitions like this, or, you know, platforms like this. So that's a great industry platform tool. I think it makes you better known in the industry, but it doesn't help you get new clients.
Good. Okay, that's a change. Again, evolved practices are all about going out there, learning more, and being lifelong learners. So you can integrate your learning, yours and your teams, into all the work that we do. And of course, talking about materials that we see. Yeah, please.
I just wanted to add to that. So very interesting things are like, again, human behavior. So when we were growing up, we all used to, or there was a trend, you know, write personal diaries, which are supposed to be very private. Nobody should read my diary and all that jazz. And today we put our lives out there. And we measure, and human beings need validation. So we measure how many likes, how many people have seen my post, blah, blah, blah. So very interesting changes also from various clients, you know. So some clients will not even want a single picture of their homes to be taken. And there are clients who say, dude, my friend's house got posted, I want my house to be featured, you know. I mean, like, so there's that kind of a, I mean, it is so interesting. And again, every individual, every business, every family, people within a family, they're also different, and so though social media is like a great leveler in many ways, and the exposure is so much more, but it also brings out different aspects of people's behavior, their preferences, you know, and how people want to be private in this today's world also, and how they tackle that versus people who just want to put themselves out there, but certain aspects, and they were. So it's very interesting. And again, as I said, like, design is about human behavior. And this gives us so many different insights into different aspects of behavior, relationships, our relationship with clients and spaces. It's so interesting.
So talking about relationships, I don't know how many of you have seen Amit's office. I saw that video, the BTS video of your office. So it's like this carnival of materials and collectibles and products and things. So coming to materials, the evolution of materials that we've seen in the way we work, not just material trends, but in the way we select, the access that we have, and the whole process of what is in trend and what is suitable for the project, what works with a budget, all of that, all of those choices. What are your evolved processes in material selection today versus from about 15, 20 years ago?
So No, that's a very interesting thing, and like, so our own office, our studio is a case study of how things can be as simple as possible, as local as possible. I mean, nothing in our studio was sourced from a radius of more than a few kilometers from where we are. So it is as simple and as basic as you can get in life. There can nothing be more simpler. But also the space is extremely contemporary, technology driven, very conscious and very towards climate and everything. So performance wise, it's like working amazing. And so, and this reinforced our philosophy and our belief of what we have done over the last 25 years is like, keep things very simple, very basic, embrace new technologies because that's a part of life overall, embrace ways to make things simpler and more efficient. But the expressions, the simpler they are, longer lasting they are. And spaces that we build should last us a lifetime. They should not be trendy or gimmicky in a way where, you know, after a few years you get bored of them. I mean, today we talk of slow fashion, today we talk of, you know, so that whole thing of being stable. And okay, fashion was something which like fast fashion, slow fashion and all is something which is very dispensable. But you cannot keep dispensing with spaces. You cannot keep changing your spaces on your whims and fancies. But, you know, technology in lighting enables you to change those spaces every, you know, the mood settings and all that are possible today. And things like that. So that's where technology, embrace technology, keep things simple. New materials available, again, you have to be very judicious in terms of selecting them. As I said, they should not, you know, go out of fashion 2 years later and then you feel, you know, you feel dated. The space should never feel dated. It should be adaptable. It should adapt to the foreseeable changes that may happen. And again, technology has been a great enabler there. I mean, in the sense, I remember when we initially used to do offices and used to lay Cat6 cables under the floor, and then you needed to change the layout and it was not possible. Today, Wi-Fi makes it possible, right? So much so, I mean, we experimented fiber optic lighting and all that jazz, which did not last too long. So there will be challenges. You will not be able to foresee everything in terms of material selection and all that, and technology selection, but whatever you can, we try to be very conscious of that keep it very simple, very basic, make it long lasting, make it a thing, and marry heritage to your contemporary needs. So when you talk of collectibles, so that's a collection which has happened over the last few decades. We have been collecting things, whichever we like, timeless pieces, 100, 150-year-old furniture pieces, accessories, and when we were doing the new studio, every place had a piece which belonged to that place. And it just turned out so beautiful. So, and that's what we try to do in all our works.
So talking about collectibles, I'm again going to refer all of you that you must watch Zaki's speech from FOAID Mumbai, where he said that architects have to be a Spider-Man, a Superman, a samurai. Did I miss anything? So I would like you to elaborate on that, because this was about the client expectations today and versus what they used to be 15 years ago, where we were, you know, okay, you know, perhaps you know more than me, so you kind of go ahead. But today we're supposed to do a lot more, because there's a lot more being done in every project and in every site. So we would love to hear your insights in that evolution of expectations that we navigate as architects for clients.
Actually, you know, I'll go back to your first question where you asked about social media and how relevant to our business, which he answered. So there are, like, I always think that there is no fully educated client. There are better clients and worse clients. There's no, like, if clients were good enough, then they would not need us. Like, I think everybody files their tax returns here, but do you go to your CA and say that, you know, your profit this year should have been 13% and not 11%, and your GST offset jo ye mila technically is wrong, I should have got that? and my depreciation should have been calculated at this rate, and because it was not amortized over 5 years, should have been done over 8 years. You don't, because it's a very technical thing. We are forgetting what we do. We are doing a fairly technical job. Just because it's got design as a veneer in the front, people assume. Even my 9-year-old daughter thinks she knows design better than me, because design is every in front of us, but behind that front veneer there's a technical backlog. There's a back frame behind that. So I think which people today are spending more time in the front side and on media and on trying to make it look cool, that they're forgetting the backbone. So that is why when clients come to all of us saying that, hey, this was supposed to be done, this was supposed to be in, my air conditioning is not working properly, or my that thing I was putting about FOAID, right, boss, is because we're supposed to know our jobs. We are supposed to know maybe 30% of our automation works, or structural engineering goes, or how your pool is supposed to work. I mean, we can't know everything, because there are professionals who do better work than that, and the consultants do that, but you're supposed to know these things, which we don't. So that is why projects get screwed, projects get over budgeted, because we've forgotten how to budget projects. Very few firms know how to budget projects. You can't tell a client, don't go buy a shirt and you see it for 8,000 rupees, while you take it to the cash counter, it says 23,000 bucks. Sorry, oops. It doesn't happen, right? But in our business happening every time. Everybody speaks, oh, I was told a quote of 1, and it's now become 3 or become 2.4. Everybody might not be able to pay for it. So we need to wear several hats for ourselves, and we should be able to manage them better, which unfortunately I think not many people are doing in the country anymore.
So has any expectation been, I would say, which has evolved in, for example, 3D renders? Earlier we would actually go and say, there's a waterfall that's going to come here and it's going to look amazing and the water's going to fall, and they would just believe you. And now there's an expectation of 3D visualization or technology, and does that help, or is that a deterrent?
No, actually it helps, but like clients come up. This is one of my favorite tales that I have, is that I had a client who came to me for a project in Bombay, and he said, this is the way I want my living room. So the living room had full pine floor, pine ceiling. It had 35 feet heights, and it had snow outside. And it had a chimney. I said, Bombay doesn't have a Bombay can't have a chimney. It doesn't snow in Bombay. So what you're trying to make, which maybe like 7,000-8,000 square feet, must have been the living space. You must have taken some villa from Stad or from some very fancy part of the world. And he said, I want to make this. His house was 2,000 square feet. Like they don't understand scale, they don't understand proportion, they don't understand what's going to look good. Then when I pointed out to him, I think he felt stupid, like, how can a fireplace come here?
2 plus 2 is not 4, that's what you said.
Sorry?
2 plus 2 is not 4,
yeah,
that's what you said.
Yeah, 2 plus 2 is never 4. And the thing is that I think I spend most of my time being an educator. I'm not an architect anymore. I'm educating my team, I'm educating clients that why this is not good for you. So now we've divided our business into 2 parts. One is where we do it for our soul, which is only 5% of projects, and 95% of projects for the money. So now if a guy doesn't understand, second time I say, ye lo bhai, ye mera associate hai, uske saath kaam kara lo, and he'll make the best whatever you want, like, Scandinavian house in Bombay, or pine tree house, or whatever stuff you're talking about. Because you cannot be, because you only have that much patience to explain to someone thrice, and after that you say, screw it, dude, I'm not staying here. Do it your way. So I guess that's the way it goes. And yeah, but 3Ds have helped. But 3Ds, that's a backflip of that. Now people say that I want to buy a curtain. Zaki, can you have it rendered this fabric into my thing to see how it is? Because people have stopped visualizing things anymore, because they want a tool. They see there's a tool there. Let's try use the tool and do it that way. So it's just insane.
So we all come across that, but thankfully we end up taking a very cynical view of that. So when somebody comes and tells us to do this thing, which is not appropriate at all, so I just tell them, like, you've gone to a doctor, you're suffering from high BP, but you say high BP is not a fancy disease anymore and treat me for cancer. It doesn't work like that.
But I yet don't think they understand.
You need what you need, and what will work in this environment, and why do you want to do something so ridiculous? So there are people who we are ready to, see our way, and we continue with them. Otherwise, I can't treat you for a disease you don't have. I can't.
So, I mean, looping what you guys just said, I think an important question that a lot of design practices in their nascent years, 5 to 10 years is about maintaining their firm identity, their design identity. And that is something which is a fine art. When you want to grow and you want to catch trends, so when you want to grow, you want to delegate, you want to catch trends, it may go outside of your comfort zone versus what the client wants and versus what is your identity. And you can both answer this, how do you kind of find that balance between all of this?
How have you found that balance?
No, I'm the moderator. This is
I mean, you have been in the same shoes as long as anybody so.
Okay, so I can answer this. So, I think you said practice, right? So I say I don't run a practice, I run a business. And I'm very clear about that. So there is no firm identity of design. There's good work, there's good technology behind, there's a good technical backbone to it, but there is the design, the front veneer is something that depends upon the client. I'm doing work for one of the largest families in India and everything is more gold. So every time we meet them and they say, can I have more gold? Means I'm Zaki Sheikh, but I'm not Zaki Sheikh from Dubai, but but they do it. I'm doing work for them in Gujarat, I'm doing work for them in Bombay, I'm doing some projects for them overseas, but they want more gold. Does it identify with my philosophy as a firm, as design? Hell no. But my firm is making them the best gold house possible. So I'm very proud of the fact that every project of ours looks completely different. There can be projects which are grotesque in nature. There are these gold houses that are being made. They're very simplistic projects being made. So that is what it is. I think as long as the client is happy with what we've given him and which is in his zone, which is in his skin, because you cannot be expecting the gentleman who loves gold to now stay in a Scandinavian kind of a house. It's out of his comfort idea. He doesn't understand that. So as long as the client's happy and you made it structurally sound and you made it something that's going to last for 15 years or 20 years kind of stuff, then I think you're good to go. And then you should not be bothering about a firm identity as long as clients are your identity. The amount of work is you have your identity. The amount of work, the money you're making is your identity. So that I think that what should be. I'm not a purist, chola leke jana wala architect, wearing chappal saying that I want to be purist. And hats off to them, but that's not what I think an architect should be today.
So our journey has been very interesting on this account, and so right when we started and we came across some opportunities which we put forward a few things and the client was not comfortable even before the design process started, and that time we were young, we were brash, and we had the audacity and the guts to say no, and we refused those commissions. And we have continued to do so. And as we have grown older, we have become probably even more stubborn in terms of what is the right way to do things and what is not. So that is something which we have been very, I would say, blessed with that bad attitude. And we have always find the right clients for ourselves who have also sort of reinforced this stupidity in us, that because whatever we have done, touchwood, has worked so well, and it has stood the test of time, it has stood the test of people enjoying those spaces for decades. Clients whose houses we did 30 years back, 25 years back are coming back to us for their renovations. Families have grown, I think. So it has worked for us, that we believe in this is the right way to do things, and growth has happened, and we also decided not to grow beyond a certain scale. Grow in terms of scale of projects and all, maybe, but not in terms of team size and all. So we have sort of limited ourselves to that for the longest time, and growth has been very organic, very unplanned, and sticking to our core values has really helped us, because every project of us has made us proud.
So that's interesting, because I mean there are two different views. One is a business and one is practice. There's a yes and a no, but I think, listening to both of you, I think it's a great way to start a conflict or navigate a conflict with a yes, but instead of a no, thank you. I think that's good business and good design. And with that, I would also like to highlight that as architects, we all design for tomorrow, today, with the wisdom that we have from yesterday, from the past. And with that thought, I would like advice for the emerging architects in our audience from the both of you of what do you futurecast the practice to be tomorrow, and what advice would you give with the insights you have drawn from your past few years?
My advice is simple. Just stick to your core values, stick to your beliefs, know what you're doing, and keep researching, keep learning, and we all find our ways in the same way.
I couldn't agree more with him. I just think that research and having core competence, having technical knowledge, those are irreplaceable things. Technologies will come, designs will change, but if you have that inept knowledge of research and understanding of how things in design should be, you will succeed in like now and 25 years later also.
So great. As we've heard today that the world of architecture and interior design is constantly changing, it's dynamic. But what stands out is the importance of being agile, being able to navigate and to be able to adapt in this dynamic world while keeping your authenticity, your core values, and of course who you are and what you really want to do, the sense of purpose, the sense of project, and of course the understanding of people. And that's really, people don't change, their behavior never changes. What changes is how we adapt to it and how we react to it and how we process it. Systems may change and people's trends may change, what they need may change, but what never changes is good design, and that really leads to good business, as we've discussed today. Thank you everyone, thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.